What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. Did you see any changes? Because you came into CIA in 2007, is that right? Did you see like hardcore, or not even hardcore, did you see clear changes when like the administration turned over from Bush to Obama, or was it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Clear changes during that change. I think the big changes for us I saw 2007, 2008, 2009. The changes happened slowly, right? So that first few years I was in, there was a certain pace, a tempo, right? And then 2010, 2011, 2012, that tempo changed. And then by the time I left, it was changing again, right? And I wasn't even there at 16 when all the Trump stuff started taking place. So there's absolutely a change, a flow in the direction of culture, prioritization, clearances, what you're willing to spend money on, what you're not willing to spend money on. This stuff, it's just a change. So with the Obama years, we were very much focused on the Asia pivot and transitioning so that our operations were less focused on counterterrorism and more focused on emerging threats, because East Asia was an emerging threat in 2010, 11, 12. Right now it's a clear and present threat. So if that doesn't give you some comfort that CIA is doing their fucking job, 2022 it was a threat. 2010 we started shifting to meet that threat. You see what I'm saying?
That's good.
That's the way professionals do it, man. But when you're a fucking armchair analyst, you don't pull your head out of your ass until it's already an imminent threat, and then you're like, oh, nobody's doing their job. No, dude, people were doing their job for decades before you pulled your head out of your ass.
What about for you when you have a situation where, unlike in the CIA, when a new administration comes in, obviously Tenet was an exception, but like usually the director of the CIA changes and stuff, but yours doesn't necessarily do that. I don't think it did.
No, it didn't. I mean, we had two different, Louis Freeh, the best director, I worked for. Bob Mueller changed the Bureau. So he wanted to become administratively perfect.
What does that mean?
That was his goal. So in other words, and we're seeing, honestly, I got to say at this point, we're seeing some of the benefit of that with the actual documentation of source meetings, the documentation of investigations. That was kind of loosey-goosey my first couple years. So Mueller changed that over, but we also took our eye off the ball with many of the crime problems, many of the threats.
Like what?
We kind of lost. You mean organized crime. It just became kind of the summer of the shark thing. Like, there's no more organized crime.
Summer of the shark.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So DARPA sharks.
Yeah, DARPA shark.
But it became less important. And what became more important was tightening the noose on the cases we already knew we had tight already. And I couldn't believe that. There was questions asked, I think we're the FBA now, the Federal Bureau of Administration. We're no longer investigating. We're just making sure what we do. And that led to changes in our administrative policy, when you could open a case, how long you had in order to do, like an assessment versus an investigation, what that meant, what the tools that you were allowed to use during the assessment phase versus the investigative stage. It became, to a lot of hard chargers that were new, it became, I thought we were the knights in shining armor. We have to prove a case before we get a search warrant. That's what it became. So you had that period of time. Terrorism was always rock steady. After 9/11, terrorism was rock steady. I mean, we learned our lesson. And like I've said before, many of the counterterrorism agents pre 9/11 were the broken toys. We talk about that. So, whatever. And I told funny stories, but they're true. We called at 2 p.m., say, hey, where are you? Oh, shit, I was cutting my lawn. I mean, this is on 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But if you take it forward, I think what Ray has done has just buried his head in the sand. I'm not going to answer questions. I'm not going to move the management and leadership forward. Good luck finding out. I'll be gone in a couple years, so take care. Hopefully, I'll be gone sooner than that. But
public servants are in a rough place right now because American citizens have so much information about what is being done at all these different levels of government. And I say information because they don't have facts. They have some facts and lots of garbage. Speculation, accusation, theories. So everybody feels this need to form an opinion. I remember And I'm not saying it was better back in the past than it is right now, but we do need to find a way to evolve past this garbage phase that we're in right now. But I remember when my parents were still parenting me, they had a certain level of like, they're doing what they have to do to keep us safe. My dad wasn't up late reading tabloids about FBI. My mom wasn't like, watching every documentary there was about all of CIA's illegal operations in Colombia. They had better shit to do, right? And they didn't bother with trying to police IRS, NSA, NRO. They didn't care. They were like, they're doing what they have to do. My job is to do what I have to do. And right now I have to raise you. Now we live in a world where people can basically be taking a dump and scrolling through TikTok, and now they're all upset about what's going on with Chinese exploding helmets. Right?
So true, though, man. Yeah.
So they feel the need to be involved in shit that they know nothing about, and they don't even understand that they don't know nothing about it because they believe the sources of information that they get because they don't know how to vet sources because they're not professional intelligence officers. They're not professional just national security officers.
What was that? What was that analogy you're making with the summer of the shark? Where did that come from?
So the sharks were pre 9/11, right? So now we've had another summer. I think we had another summer of the shark this past summer.
DARPA sharks.
Yeah,
we did.
DARPA sharks, right? So
Ukrainian
shark attacks
sharks.
all over the place, summer 2001. Why? Because they're getting reported. People were saying, holy shit, don't go near that beach. They show video and everything else. Now it's drone shots. And all of a sudden 9/11 happens. And it was almost like, stop getting reported. That's the only reason. It kept happening.
They stopped biting.
Sharks didn't say like, fuck, these people are going through a lot.
We're going to give them some
Stop
space.
biting. You know what I mean? Because, it just didn't happen. And kind of the same thing with organized crime.
Yeah.
It's not that mobsters weren't being mobsters. There's a little bit of a difference with the code and bullshit that is. The respect, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's not that they weren't doing the exact same things. It's just that we didn't have interest or time. Or we put the worst of the worst on those squads.
It's called reporting bias.
Yeah.
It's another one of the reasons that you see so much reporting around military bases of UFOs. Does that actually mean UFOs are more interested in military bases, or that the people and the tools at military bases are more observant than the people and the tools in no-name Kentucky, right? So the reporting bias is the same thing. It's another example of the opportunity cost we were talking about with Ukraine. You spend $75 billion to do one thing, which means you're not spending $75 billion to do this other thing.
Right.
You're dedicating all your officers to counterterrorism. That means you're not dedicating those officers to organized crime.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.